Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. This is an exciting announcement. My name is Derek Abbey. I am the director of the Joan and R. Barron Veteran Center at San Diego State University, where we have a large military program, and San Diego State has had a connection to the military since its inception. Our original president was a veteran himself, and we've remained connected to the military throughout our existence. Anytime during the year, we have anywhere between 4,000 and 5,000 military-connected students on our campus, and we're continuously striving to have an impact not only on our students, but on their community in a positive way when it comes to the military, and not just here in San Diego, but across the nation. And today, we're here to announce a partnership with this amazing museum, which just had their 15th year anniversary. And a lot of people don't know, but since the USS Midway has been established here in San Diego, they have been striving to have a positive impact in the area of education, working with thousands and thousands of youth every year. And today, they're beginning that expansion into the higher education community. We are here to announce that the USS Midway Foundation has granted San Diego State University a $3 million 5-year endowment to create and fund an endowed chair in modern U.S. history at San Diego State University. Yeah. The other cool part about that is San Diego State is the only public university on the West Coast with an interdisciplinary program in modern U.S. military history. And we are very, very proud of that. On June 6th of this year, Midway's Board of Directors unanimously approved its foundation gift. During that meeting, the USS Midway Chair gifted the single largest gift received by the university's College of Arts and Letters. This endowed chair will sit in the college's Department of History. And thank you. To speak a little bit more about that, I would like to welcome to the stage Mac McLaughlin, the President and CEO of the USS Midway Museum.
Thank you, Derek, and good morning. So nice to have everybody here for this very special occasion for San Diego State and especially for us on the USS Midway. As Derek said, we've been here for a little over 15 years. And I think if you went back 15 years ago and tried to imagine this day ever happening, it wouldn't even be in the consciousness of the leadership of our organization. And yet, as our education program, we have a couple of Navy flybys scheduled for your entertainment today. As a former Navy helicopter pilot, I just love hearing that sound. It just does my heart well. I think when the Midway first got here, we all looked at one another with the board of directors, with our staff, and asked ourselves, now what? Because everybody was excited to have the ship here, but my goodness, really? A giant aircraft carrier parked downtown San Diego on the bay? Come on, get a grip. We very quickly realized that if we were going to stay an institution in San Diego for decades and hopefully centuries to come, we need to create this organization of value to the community. And certainly education was one of those areas that we saw that we could build a program with. It was easy with the young kids, but it rapidly grew. And now we're seeing over 55,000 annually in the young kindergarten up through the 8th grade. High school's a little bit more challenging. It's tough to get the high school kids on board, so we turn to get the teachers on board. If you can teach the teachers, they can in turn teach their students, and that has become a nationally renowned program, MIT, as we like to say here on Midway, the real MIT. Midway Institute of Teachers. And John Burns and Rudy Shep, you're here with us today. They were instrumental in the building of that. They came up with the idea and they created the programs, which allowed us to continue the program of, as I said, we have to listen to the community and not do things that we think are good ideas, but listen to the community. What do you think a big ugly aircraft carrier could help you out with? And when we came in with Andy Weiss and Pierre and started talking about military history, we very quickly came upon the idea that this might be an ideal partnership. And that's what ensued, and that's what we're here to consummate today. And I will share with you, I don't look at this as a one-time deal. Thanks for coming. We're going to endow this. This is something that is ideally aligned with the core values and the culture of this organization and those of San Diego State. And we look at a partnership with the Military History Center, with your military history curriculum, and with continuing to expand this as the premier military history program of America right here. And where else should it be but this Navy and Marine Corps hometown right here in San Diego, California. So I'd like to thank some people who made this happen. Dr. Norma Bouchard, who's the Dean of College of Arts and Letters. Thank you, Norma, very much. You were the leadership, you know. All us underlings thought it was a good idea, but until you nodded, we could not move forward with this. Dr. Andrew Weiss and Pierre Asselin, who are professors in the Military History Department and the Department of History, which Andy is in charge of. Thank you for taking the baton and running with it, making this happen. And Adrian Vargas and Janice Shaw, who are with the development and just kept coming up with, okay, well, if this isn't a good idea, what do you think about this? You know, that's what good development people do. They develop an idea into a program, and thank you both for making this a reality. And Derek Abbey, who was up here at the introduction, who's kind of the glue between the two organizations. You know, he's a recovering Marine who's found his niche in the world of academia, but was very pleased to reconnect with the USS Midway, so it made for a perfect liaison for developing this program. And here on our own staff, John Burns and Rudy Shappy, who are really the authors of this program. We would not be here without you. Thank you too, sincerely, from the bottom of our heart. Sarah Hanscom, who's the Director of Education, Paula Cordero, and myself, who basically went behind Rudy and John and just kept going, that's a good idea, that's a good idea. Yeah, let's do that, as they continue to develop this program. So with that, thank you very much for the opportunity to bond with one of the real institutions that matter in our community, San Diego State. Go Aztecs, we're proud to be a part of your program. Thank you very much. And I have the distinct honor of introducing the gentleman who has led this for the History Department, Dr. Andrew Weiss, who is the champion for this program.
Well, thank you, Mac, and everyone in the Midway organization. I feel absolutely gratified and honored to be here in this grand setting. There's almost not words quite large enough for what we have around us, to celebrate this partnership between two of San Diego's greatest institutions. San Diego State University and the USS Midway have their own unique histories and traditions, and yet we are bound by a shared commitment in service to our community and to our region. Each of our institution has a special commitment to serving the next generation of San Diegans. And if I may say so, I think each institution has a history of punching above its weight class. Like the USS Midway, those of us in the Department of History at San Diego State are dedicated to remembering the past and to preserving its legacies for the future. today's announcement of the USS Midway Chair in modern United States military history brings these two institutions together to that common purpose. 3 years ago, my colleagues and I outlined a vision that San Diego State would become the leading center for the study and teaching of military history in the Western United States of America. Our aspirations were rooted in the traditions of this city and our region. San Diego is or at least among, the largest military and veteran centers any place in the world. Storied military institutions shape our landscape, including many that we can see here from the naval bases Coronado and San Diego, and Point Loma, and the former Naval Training Center, and MCRD, Coast Guard Station San Diego, and on up the road to Camp Pendleton, and MCAS Miramar, and many others that have been decommissioned that sit underneath our great regional parks, our universities, our housing, our private enterprise throughout this city. The history of San Diego's modern period, of course, was inaugurated in the impetus to create an arsenal for democracy, to supply and to win a war across the Pacific Ocean. At San Diego State University, we reflect these strengths. We've got more than 3,000 military-affiliated students and regular rankings among the best colleges for veterans in the United States, and that's a point that owes no small debt to the Joan and Art Behrens Center for Veterans that Derek so ably directs. Our classrooms, therefore, offer the potential for informed conversations about military affairs that few campuses can match. Moreover, we believe that the study of the causes, conduct, and costs of war underlie critical public policy making and informed citizenship today. We felt like the time and place were right to establish Sdsu as a national leader in the study and teaching of military history. We thought that others would agree. And as it happens, we were right. We took two first steps toward this goal. First, we hired a new Dwight E. Stanford Chair in U.S. Foreign Relations History, Professor Pierre Asselin. Pierre is on a visiting summer professorship at the University of Leiden in Amsterdam, and so he can't be here, but he sends his regards and his joy. Pierre's arrival in 2017 catalyzed exciting new initiatives in military history on our campus with visits and master classes for our students from top professional historians from China and Vietnam, leading Cold War experts and retired international journalists to provide compelling perspectives on the United States and the world. Pierre was the proof of concept. We knew that we were on the right track, and we wanted to double his strength. Second, this spring, we established the Sdsu Center for Military History as a platform to bring together scholars, students, and community members to support advanced research, teaching, and public engagement in military history. And today we take the critical third step with the help of the USS Midway Museum and the establishment of an endowed professorship in United States military history. We want to launch immediately a national search to recruit a nationally known and proven leader, a teacher and scholar of uncommon gifts, someone who has a record of collaboration, public service, and a commitment to working with our community partners such as museums and veterans organizations and other groups. We expect that that chair in modern U.S. military history will take a leading role in our Center for Military History. With the support of the Midway Endowment, they will enhance collaborative and innovative research. They'll support new curriculum and student initiatives. They'll sponsor programs and symposia and lectures to stimulate public engagement. They will gather together a community of scholars and policymakers and public stakeholders to establish San Diego as a nationally recognized center for military history commensurate with our region. We can't wait to get started. I also want to offer a few thanks. Any partnership between institutions as big as these requires the input and the exertion of many, and I am grateful for the contribution of all. I'm especially grateful for the College of Arts and Letters Director of Development, Janie Shaw. I want to thank also the Interim Vice President for University Relations and Development, Adrian Vargas. I want to thank the Midway Education Committee and board members, Paula Cordero and Sarah Hanscom in particular, for their support. I want to thank my colleagues in the Department of History, in particular Ed Beasley and John Putman, Elizabeth Pollard, Sarah Elkind, William Weeks, Brad Redmond, and others. A few special thanks are also in order. Dean Norma Bouchard, the Dean of the College of Arts and Letters, has been a stalwart supporter of this effort from its inception. She moves on this summer to greener pastures in Philadelphia, although how you could get greener than this, I don't know. Maybe it's bigger and better things. We'll miss you, Norma. You've done great things, and this will be your legacy. I'm also especially grateful to Professor Pierre Asselin, who has been a tireless champion of this effort. I want to thank him for his longstanding commitments to the USS Midway Institute for Teachers, for his creativity, for his audacity to dream big, for his energy. I also want to thank the sage John Burns, who has long institutional experience and knowledge, a collaborative spirit that helped to bring us together. Together, John and Rudy and Pierre helped us to recognize and to build out our shared purpose and our shared aspirations. And finally, I want to thank UMAC and your executive leadership of the USS Midway Museum for your vision, for your commitment to excellence, to service, and to distinction at the highest level. I think that's a vision that we share as institutions, and I think that's what brought us together, and I think that's what will be the cement that keeps us together for many years to come. To quote a film that's a favorite among ours, I believe that this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Thank you.
Well, I'm certainly excited. We're talking about military and we're talking about history, so I think we can't pass up the symbology of the day that the board met for the USS Midway and voted on this on June 6th. The 75th anniversary of the landing of D-Day in France, the turning of the tide in the Pacific, or excuse me, in the European theater. But 2 years prior to that was the Midway battle, the turning of the tide in the Pacific. June 6th was also the anniversary of the Battle of Midway, and of course, the namesake of this ship that we sit on today. And today is just another special occasion. And with that, I would like to invite the signing party to the stage. The signing party will be signing the official gift agreement as well as the memorandum of understanding between the two institutions. You're welcome to the stage. As a token of our gratitude to the USS Midway, we would like to present the USS Midway Foundation with a small gift. Will Dr. Andy Weiss come to the podium and representatives from the USS Midway? You want me to? It's a gift to them, don't they?
Why don't you unwrap it and I'll say what this is.
An unveiling.
All right, we brought a brown paper package, only short of a string. But as a token of our appreciation, we want to share with the USS Midway a collage of original letters which were received from San Diego State students on active duty during World War II. They represent a small portion of the more than 5,000 letters that are contained in the remarkable World War II Servicemen's Correspondence Collection, which is housed at the San Diego State University Archives and Special Collections. These were letters that were written by Sdsu servicemen and women and their families to Professor Lauren Doc Post for his use in compiling the Aztec newsletter, which was one of the first outlets of its kind during World War II, which was designed to collect and share and connect San Diego State servicemen and women to one another so that they could learn about each other's experiences, their locations, and their fate. These historic documents, I think, reflect on many different issues. The letters are legible and you can read them. I certainly encourage you to do that. They reflect on the meanings of sacrifice and on these young men and women's hopes for the future 75 years ago. And they provide, I think, unique perspectives on the experience of San Diego State students in a global crisis. I think they're a fitting representation to the partnership that we strike today and the vision that inspires it. I encourage you, I hope that you may hang this in a place where members of your team and staff can see it and be as inspired as we are in reading these letters. Thank you.
On behalf of the Board of Directors, our professional management and staff, some 800 volunteers, and our thousands of supporters, I wanted to share with you how excited we are to translate what was a vision into something that now will be a reality, that we will share with this generation and future generations probably a common goal, and that is that freedom is not free.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our signing ceremony today. I would like to invite the signing party back to the stage for a photo. And for the press, Mac McLaughlin, Dr. Andy Weiss, and Dr. Derek Abbey will be available for interviews following the completion of the photograph. Thank you for joining us today.